Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana GoldBod, Sammy Gyamfi, has rejected claims that GoldBod was responsible for the losses incurred by the Bank of Ghana (BoG) under its domestic gold purchase program. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series, Sammy Gyamfi says the narrative linking GoldBod to the reported losses represented a shift from an earlier claim that GoldBod itself had made losses. According to him, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) reports cited in support of the allegations do not accuse GoldBod of causing the losses recorded by the central bank. He challenged critics, particularly Afenyomarkin, to identify any paragraph, sentence or statement in the referenced IMF report where the fund specifically attributed the GoldBod's losses to the BoG's losses to GoldBod. Mr. Gyamfi explained that the IMF reports indicated that the Bank of Ghana incurred losses through the sale of gold under its domestic gold purchase program amounting to about $400 million in 2024 and $1.7 billion in 2025. He stressed that according to the IMF, the 2025 loss was associated with the scaling up of domestic gold purchase program rather than incompetence or mismanagement of GoldBod.
Number one, the Bank of Ghana has not pulled out from anything. The MPP government decided that it will run a program called Domestic Gold Purchase Program, which will be managed by the Bank of Ghana. And they designed that program in a certain way, which I will talk about it. President Mahama promised to reset Ghana, including the gold trade sector. And his reset is the GoldBod. The act has been passed and the GoldBod is ready for takeoff. And so this new GoldBod model as envisioned under the GoldBod Act is not anchored on Bank of Ghana financing GoldBod. The GoldBod has been given the powers under Section 18 of the GoldBod Act by Parliament to raise money for itself from the financial markets. And so if the GoldBod wants to assert that statutory mandate, and for that matter, the Bank of Ghana has to end what it was doing under the domestic gold purchase program, you don't look at that and say, oh, that means GoldBod was doing something wrong. I can tell you that as we speak, the IMF and the Bank of Ghana are all engaging GoldBod that they still want to be our fiscal agents under the GoldBod model, where they will be raising money for us as an intermediary. It is the GoldBod that is rather saying, no, we will do it ourselves. So that claim is not true. And then you hear him say that, oh, GoldBod was being paid some fees, and it is because of the noise they made that the fees were reduced. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I brought evidence here. And if you need the evidence, I'll give it to you. That evidence is a letter dated October 29, 2025, way before the MPP ever held a press conference on GoldBod or domestic gold purchase program in 2025. Because the first press conference they held in the aftermath of the IMF report on domestic gold purchase program was in December. If you recall, we were celebrating Christmas at the time, December 2025. But by October 29, 2025, the GoldBod and Bank of Ghana, through negotiations, had reduced the fees to 0.6. Does that mean there was something wrong? No. What it meant was that the GoldBod was more efficient in aggregating gold, that they didn't need 0.75%. We conceded upon request by Bank of Ghana that we could do with little and still achieve better results.
Ghana GoldBod CEO Sammy Gyamfi dismissed claims that the Bank of Ghana has pulled out of the domestic gold purchase program, describing the development as part of a transition to a new financing model under the GoldBod Act.
Their position has now conveniently changed from the old false narrative that the GoldBod made losses to the new false narrative, which is that the GoldBod is responsible for losses incurred by the Bank of Ghana under the domestic gold purchase program. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing could be further from the truth. First, nowhere in the under-referenced IMF reports is GoldBod accused by the IMF as having caused the losses reported to have been incurred by the Bank of Ghana under the domestic gold purchase program. I challenge Afenyomakin to point to any page, paragraph, sentence, phrase, or punctuation mark in the said reference reports of the IMF where the GoldBod was accused by the IMF as the entity responsible for losses incurred by the Bank of Ghana. In summary, ladies and gentlemen, what the IMF report states is that Bank of Ghana incurred losses through the sale of gold under its domestic gold purchase program of $400 million in the year 2024 and $1.7 billion in the year 2025. And that the 2025 loss of $1.7 billion was as a result of, I'm quoting the IMF verbatim, the scaling up of the domestic gold purchase program, not incompetence or mismanagement. According to the IMF, that loss was as a result of the scaling up, the expansion of the program.